It's high school basketball on Comcast Sportsnet Houston, powered by the Legacy Sports Network. Tonight from Pearland, it's a third-round playoff matchup between the Mustangs from North Shore and the Broncos from Fort Bend Bush. And hello, everyone, with the coach, Joe Price. I'm Brett Dolan. Jim Hicks will be along in a moment. Thanks for tuning in. We should have an outstanding game here tonight. You're talking about two tradition-rich programs, Joe, two 30-win teams, a lot of Division I talent, and I can't wait to see what we'll have in store tonight.
Should be a good ball game, you know, and you talk about how rich they are on tradition. Both schools, both coaches have a whole lot of playoff experience. You know, Coach Green has taken 3 different teams to the state tournament, and Coach Courtney has taken 2 and won at Willow Ridge and at Bush. So it should be a good matchup.
Let's talk about the players we'll see in this game for North Shore. Jonathan Motley. We had North Shore a couple of weeks ago, but Motley didn't play much in a big win against Deer Park, but he is an outstanding young player and young man on his way to Baylor.
That's true. You know, Motley's 17 years old, still young, got big feet, probably still got about 3 more inches to grow before he turned 20. And I know he's looking forward to get on Baylor campus. He'll probably enroll in the summer so he can get up there, get on the weights, and get stronger.
Well, as far as the Broncos are concerned, it's a junior. Kelly Oubre being recruited from one end of the country to the other. He averages over 22 points a game and one of the better young players in this city.
He'll definitely be recruited by probably everybody in the country. Being a junior and playing at that type of caliber, you know, he's a good ball player, and he's probably going to make things happen tonight.
An outstanding third-round matchup between the Mustangs from North Shore and the Broncos from Fort Bend Bush. We'll be back with our starting lineups and tip-off right after this on the Legacy Sports Network.
We welcome you to North Shore Marine. We support a large parts and accessories for Johnson, Evinrude, Yamaha, and Suzuki. And we also have parts for your boat, not only just the motor. So you can come in and get pretty much everything you need and be on your way. So you name it, we got it. We sell Sea Arc aluminum boats, a wide variety we try to keep in stock so we can accommodate just about anybody. We service Johnson, Evinrude, Yamaha, and Suzuki. We have a master technician in our staff, and he's highly accredited. Well, of course, we're a family-oriented business. We try to keep it on that level. We're concerned for the well-being of our customers. Come visit us at North Shore Marine.
Meet Lucy. Lucy loves to shop. Lucy also loves to save. Luckily, Lucy can do both with her new First Community Credit Union Platinum Credit Card. Not only can Lucy save on that new dress, she can also get those new shoes, too. Apply today and take advantage of everything a First Community Credit Union Platinum Credit Card has to offer, including a 12-month 2.99% APR introductory rate. You really can shop and save like Lucy. First Community Credit Union, official credit union of the Houston Texans.
Following footage was captured at a local grocery store. This man just took money from his bank that wasn't in his account. Did you catch it? Let's see that again. There, he just got 10 cents back for every $10 or more purchase on his debit card with cashback counts checking from Community Bank. Imagine a bank that actually pays you to use your debit card. Swipe all you can from your bank. Community Bank of Texas. Bank where you live.
We're at Pearland High School tonight for this regional quarterfinal matchup between the 30-4 North Shore Mustangs and the 30-4 Fort Bend Bush Broncos. Let's take a look at our starting lineups for tonight's game. We'll start first with the Mustangs and their coach, David Green. Mustangs' last loss came back on January 29th against Port Arthur Memorial. There's Jonathan Motley, the man we talked about in the open, averaging 18 points a game. Kerwin Roach, number 23, coming off a strong performance against Clements in the last playoff game. And then Brandon Etienne is a 5'10 junior averaging 12 points a contest. He is their three-point shooter. Aaron Smith, a 6'4 senior, averaging 4 points and nearly 5 rebounds a game. And then Jalen Hart, a 5'10 junior, leads the team in steals, rounds out the starting 5 for the Mustangs. Now for the Fort Bend Bush Broncos, their starters under coach Ronnie Courtney. One of the top teams in the state, Ronald Monroe, a 6'5 junior, averages nearly 9 points a contest. And then there's Chandre Jones. What a game he had in the contest against Manville, the last playoff game, averaging 17 points a game. Kelly Oubre, 22-plus points a game, our featured player for the Broncos. Continuing on, Brandon Jones, a 6'5 junior, averaging nearly 10 points and 9 rebounds a contest for the Broncos. And then rounding out the starting five, Ladarius Johnson, a 6'5 senior, averaging 6.7 points a contest. And, Coach, you're struck by the size of these players that we're going to see tonight as well.
Well, I tell you, they're getting bigger and bigger every week. Seems like last week we were dealing with 6'6", 6'7", 6'8".
As we get ready for this game tonight, we discussed it in the open, 2:30 win teams. What will you be watching for, say, in the first few minutes or first quarter to get a feel for this game?
Well, I think it's going to be important for North Shore to try to keep Bush off the boards. You know, they got guys that hit the boards real hard, and North Shore going to have to do a real good job of boxing out to have a chance to win the ball game.
Asked Coach Courtney before the game what concerned him about North Shore. He mentioned their quickness, and he says he feels like his team needs to defend and rebound, and he feels like they'll be okay if they can do that.
Yeah, North Shore does have extreme quickness, and I think in the guard battle, North Shore probably will match up well with Bush, but I think it's going to be real important to see what happens in that paint area, you know, on the boards.
We'll focus on Motley as well, the 6'8 senior. He's going to jump it up. Mustangs wearing their white uniforms, the Broncos in their orange unis, and Kelly Oubre, the 6'7 junior, will jump things up for the Broncos. Should be an outstanding matchup tonight here from Pearland. Ready for first quarter action and third round playoff activity, and the ball is controlled by Chandre Jones, and the Broncos will have it first. Jones, coming off a spectacular playoff game against Manville, starts the scoring with a first basket this evening. Jones had 23 points in the win against the Mavericks at Hobson in the second round. So here come the Mustangs. There's Motley, double team. The Baylor commit tries to work out of that two-timing effort. And out controlling is Brandon Etienne. We mentioned the long-range shooting. He's hit more than 50 three-pointers this year. There's a three ball from the baseline, and the rebound grab by Smith. Then the putback is good for the Mustangs. First two from Aaron Smith.
It's really important for North Shore to stay on those boards offensively and defensively.
And Jones with the turnover. So back comes Etienne, and that ball was sailing out of bounds as well. So each team turning it over, and now the Broncos back with a basketball. A Fort Bend ISD school that has won the regional title the last 3 years and 4 of the last 5. And you would think a very good chance for that to happen again this year if the Broncos can keep on winning. Ronald Monroe can't score on the drive, and Motley up high for the rebound. He averages nearly 11 of those a game. Roach finds Etienne, and he shuffled the feet and traveled and turned it back over to the Broncos. Maybe some early jitters, Coach.
Yeah, maybe so.
Now for the Broncos, their last playoff game, a 63-49 win against Manville. Before that, they topped Clear Springs 55-48. Their 2 wins to get to this point, the regional quarterfinals. There's Chandre Jones. He's the Richmond commit. Brandon Jones had his pass taken away by Etienne. So Coach Price likes to chart the turnovers. His pen getting some ink early.
Yeah, it's 2-2.
Jalen Hart, he lost it, so Jones the steal. There's the give to Oubre. And on the move, Oubre can't coax it in. Rebounds his miss and scores over the rim for the easy basket. And we have a timeout. The Mustangs and Coach David Green wants to break not even 2 minutes into this game.
I think he's concerned about those boards and probably the turnovers. North Shore already has 3 turnovers, and it's not even 2 minutes in the ball game.
Joe, you talk about turnovers. That's something the Mustangs have been able to do, especially recently. And you go back to their last playoff game against Clements. They shot 79% on 2-point field goals. That means they're getting a lot of layups. They're getting some easy baskets off that press. And tonight, it's the Mustangs who've been turning it over.
Yeah. Well, in that Clements games, you know, I had a chance to witness that game. There was a lot of high percentage shots, like you said, layups, you know, five-footers, things like that.
It's hard to argue when you shoot 79% from two-point field goal range.
Well, I tell you, that's a coach's dream.
Makes you wonder why you even try threes. But tonight, it's a 2-point lead for the Broncos, and the Mustangs have the basketball after the timeout. Motley will step out. Missed the three. Ronald Monroe grabs the carom. And Monroe will push when he saw Motley passed into the corner for Brandon Jones. There's Oubre, tries to go to work. And Brandon Jones, his shot won't go. And there's the rebounding strength from one, Jonathan Motley. So Brandon Etienne, the 5'10 junior, set up the offense. Motley trying to get the ball in the low blocks, double teamed. He'll pass out, and the pass will go into the backcourt. And DeShondre Jones tries to run it down, but by touching it, he allows the Mustangs to keep. And a power move from Hart was nowhere close, and that ball's out of bounds, and it'll be Broncos basketball. Boy, both coaches up here in the last couple of minutes not happy with some of the execution.
I tell you, kids just got the jitters. They were working out.
So there's Oubre. And they give to Ronald Monroe. Back to Oubre. The left-hander lost it, but it ends up in the hands of Brandon Jones, and he scores an easy basket. Even that could have been a turnover. The ball ended up perfectly for the Broncos.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's a 4-point lead for Bush, even though North Shore with the basketball. Their lone 2 points tonight come from Aaron Smith. They would like to get Motley involved. When Motley's touched the ball, he's had a double team against him. He's got position in the low blocks, but the Mustangs won't feed him. They will now. We had a horn go off. We're going to keep playing, and that ball goes sailing out of bounds. And in for North Shore is Derek Burks. He'll replace Aaron Smith.
I want the mind be turned down a little bit.
So Brandon Jones controls for the Broncos. There's Oubre. Three-pointer from the baseline is right down the middle. So Kelly Oubre, number 3 player in the greater Houston area. Some say maybe number 6 in the state. Has 5 points, and he's made it a 7-point lead for the Broncos. ATN being pushed further and further from the basket by Monroe. Motley again double team, but he goes under the hoop and brings it down. What a strong power move for the first 2 from Motley.
It seems as Motley going to see a double team every time he touched the ball tonight.
Well, I liked how he was able to get out of that 2-timing effort. He goes up to the block and commits the foul. Motley had 6 blocks in that last playoff win, 71 this season, but that time gets charged with a foul.
Yeah.
What a move, though, to beat that 2-timing effort for the slam in the previous possession. Looks like we'll have a timeout on the court. 3:34 to play here at our first quarter. It's a 5-point lead for the Broncos on the Legacy Sports Network.
Result-oriented, responsible, and reputable. Those are just a few of the words that could be used to describe Metter Staffing, one of Houston's largest staffing services. Metter has gained a superior reputation over the past 4 decades, serving Houston's employers, providing all types of direct hire, contract to hire, temporary, and temp to hire job candidates. If you have a job to fill or looking for a job, call Metter Staffing at 713-941-0616. Follow Metter on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Metter Staffing. They know the people you need to know.
Let's send things over to Jim Hicks.
And one of them was definitely effective rebounding for North Shore. And you guys can see already that Bush is attacking that interior of North Shore's defense. They're getting there, getting too easy a basket. Jonathan Motley, he's going to get his fast share of rebounds. 17 points, 11 rebounds a game he averages. But they're going to need more rebounding from the guards. Brandon Etienne Jalen Hart has to get in there and help Motley out on the boards. They're not normally considered rebounders, but in this game, they better get up in there and rebound if these Mustangs want to win. As for the Broncos, it's been Kelly Oubre, Chandre Jones. They have been the guys that's been getting this thing rolling. As you can see, Kelly Oubre's shot from the left corner, been smooth as butter. But we'll see how this thing rolls on through the rest of this quarter. Back to you, Brett and Coach Joe.
All right, Ladarius Johnson split a pair from the line, providing the Broncos with a 6-point lead. Couple of field goals for the Mustangs. They had that slam from Motley in the previous possession. There's another turnover. Ronald Monroe comes back 1 on 3, and the finger roll won't fall. Motley tries to tip the rebound out, but it's controlled by the Broncos. There's Brandon Jones and another kick out. Monroe, a long-range 3. And Motley again loses the rebound. He got a hand on it, could not control. Coach Courtney wants the Broncos to run the offense, and Ronald Monroe defended closely by Burks. Brandon Jones couldn't coax in that shot. So here comes Jalen Hart. Both teams a little bit out of sync. Now ATN will set up the offense as we go near the 2.5 mark of this first quarter. The teardrop would not fall, and a rebound controlled by Ladarius Johnson. Oubre goes baseline and flushes. That's 7 points for Kelly Oubre. Coach, he's the one player on the floor. It looks like he's brought his A game so far.
Well, I tell you, he plays above the rim.
8-point lead for the Broncos. The Mustangs could really use a hit. 6 minutes gone here in our first quarter. Motley double teamed as he touches. Passes out. Did he walk first? No, he was fouled. Thought maybe we were going to get a travel, Coach, instead of foul.
Yeah, it seems like every time Motley touches it, another guy's running at him, so he's going to be doubled all night.
Ladarius Johnson picks up the foul. We've had just one team fouled on both teams. 6+ minutes.
Yeah, officials will let them play. So that's good.
So Motley will pass it in. Another quick whistle.
Got a hole.
Might be on Oubre. And is. So without a foul in the first 5 minutes, they get 2 fouls in 1 second.
Yeah.
Motley having a hard time getting the ball in bounds, and finally does so. Pretty good defense by the Broncos, extending what the Mustangs have been trying to do. Another turnover. Ronald Monroe end to end, and he will score, and he's pushed by Motley. And a chance for a 3-point play. So Motley is second personal when he wasn't going to be able to defend or block, and a chance for a 3-point play for the Broncos. Foul was first indicated to the scores table as 33. Motley was hoping that would be the case. There is no 33, but it's on him, and that is his second. It'll send Ronald Monroe to the free throw line trying to complete a 3-point play. He had just 2 points in that win against Manville the other night. Chance for 3 points here in the sequence. He can't get it, but another rebound. Up high is Brandon Jones. He'll challenge Motley, and that is an offensive foul, I believe. I thought with the whistle, maybe Motley was going to get another, and the official was somewhat indecisive too. But it's a charge on Jones.
Hey, North Shore's going to definitely have to do a better job of boxing out on the boards. Like I said, that's Bush pet peeves to hit those boards.
Well, time and time again, they've been able to keep the sequence alive. And for the Mustangs, Coach, they just have to get some clean looks. There's one, but it won't fall. And the rebound to Oubre again. So the Broncos leading by 10. Oubre's had a big game. Could not get that one to go, and the rebound was controlled by Burke, so that time one and done for the Broncos. Mustangs on the push. And ATN just airballs one into the hands of Oubre. And a baseball pass ahead, and that'll lead to an easy 2 from Ladarius Johnson. Just 2 field goals for the Mustangs. Jalen Hart gives to Etienne. Again, there haven't been many open shots tonight for North Shore. There is one from Roach. And Oubre, again, another rebound. He was falling out of bounds, so he'll call a timeout. Oubre just doesn't score, Joe. I mean, we talk about his 22 points a game. He averages 10 rebounds a game, and you mentioned before, he plays above the rim. You could see where he would get those rebounds.
Oh, yeah, he definitely plays above the rim and definitely a Division I prospect. Is he a senior?
He's a junior.
That's scary.
It is scary. You see the Mustangs huddling up right there, and we have 30 seconds to go in this quarter. What does North Shore have to do, Joe, just to get some baskets and get back in this game?
Well, they're just going to have to get under control. Look like they're just trying to rush the situation. Just get under control and, get your feet set on your shots and just take your time.
Some of the fans here tonight at Pearland. 30 seconds to play in our first quarter. It's a 12-point lead for the Broncos, and they control the basketball. Now, Chandre Jones off that big game has just 2 points, but he'll operate and find Ronald Monroe. Jones again on his way to Richmond. Senior guard can handle the ball as well as anybody I've seen this year. And the runner will drop. 4 points for Jones. So the task becomes that much more difficult for North Shore. They could really use a hit. 2 seconds to go. The 3 ball is blocked, and that's how this first quarter will end. So Oubre up to swat one away. It's all Broncos after 1 quarter. They lead it 18-4 on the Legacy Sports Network. Fort Bend Bush leads by 14, and let's check in with Jim Hicks.
Trying to get the ball up and down the floor. They want to play well with the big guy inside, Jonathan Motley, which can be a force if he stay out of foul trouble. I mean, the first quarter he's already picked up 2 fouls, which is going to catch up with him down the stretch because he's going to take away from his aggression around the basket. We just played Bush, and they're one of the most physical teams in the region. I thought they were by far the most dynamic team in our region and had the best chance of winning this region because they have 5 guys that can play at a high level.
Well, hey, thanks a bunch. Hey, spoken from a true scout, Coach Chris Johnson, Clear Springs High School. Back to you, Coach Price, and, of course, Brett.
Okay, Jim. Mustangs will start with the basketball here in the second quarter. They're down 14 points. Joe, we'll see if they had any answers in that discussion at the quarter break.
Yeah.
Jumper wide of the mark from Burks, but it's run down by Jalen Hart. Motley was open for a second, but he'll quickly pass out to his teammate Roach. And then Roach traveled with the basketball, and you could see the frustration right there on Motley as he walks up the court. The Broncos will have it back. So North Shore is going to put on some pressure, hoping maybe to cause some turnovers, get some easy baskets.
Yeah, they got the biggest guy on the floor out front on the press, and hopefully he can make it difficult.
It's like kind of a 1-2-2. Motley on the top. Broncos will break, and it leads to a 3-try. Motley clears the rebound. Motley may have shuffled the feet, goes with a runner, and scores. So he took matters into his own hands. That's 4 points for the senior on his way to Baylor. And the ball will fall from Brandon Jones as he attacked the rim. Well, the Broncos not afraid to glide to that basket.
Not at all.
Motley's pass was intended for Burks. It was knocked out of bounds. Substitution for the Mustangs. They will bring on Aaron Smith, replacing Derek Burks. You see Smith there, number 22. He scored the first basket for the Mustangs. They've had just 3 field goals in this game. Open look from Jalen Hart. The 3-ball wouldn't drop. Another rebound for Kelly Oubre. A steal by Jalen Hart. He leads this team in steals at 75 this year. He's going to try and score. He got hit hard. No foul. The shot was blocked, but Kerwin Roach will follow and score. So Roach able to get his first basket. 12-point lead for Fort Bend Bush. Ronald Monroe would not contest against Motley. Instead, Jones will, and Motley runs down the rebound. Coach, you can see him maybe a little hesitant, not wanting to pick up that third foul.
Yeah, and I'm surprised they're not taking it to him, too.
Another basket here might mean North Shore is slowly starting to get in rhythm. They get it to Motley. He can't convert, but he's fouled and will earn 2 from the line. Motley is a 61% free throw shooter this season. Young man has shot more than 150 free throws this year. And that's now 5 points for Motley. Big game today would give him more than 600 points this season.
Well, I tell you, he got quite a few for the career, too.
It has to enter into a senior's mind, doesn't it, when you're this deep in the playoffs? This could be the last time I take the court.
That's true. And that's how you have to play every game from here on in. It's like
true.
It might be your last.
Oubre may have
got away with a walk.
Yeah, I think you're right. Broncos maintain possession, leading by 10, but at one time they led by 14. Oubre against Motley. There's a couple of D1 players. Motley took an elbow in the choppers. The ball went out of bounds. Apparently it'll stay Fort Bend Bush basketball. So Jones will inbound. He's the 13th ranked senior in this city. He'll spot it for a 3-ball and rain one in. Chandre Jones, 7 points in the game.
That's the X factor right there. That's the guy you got to worry about. The senior, the leader.
Boy, at the end of the game against Manville the other night, Coach, he was trying to run out the clock. He was hitting his free throws. He put on a dribbling display that would have made the Globetrotters proud. At one point, one of the fans from Bush stood up and said, "No charge for the clinic." Turnaround from Motley. Strong. Too strong. Rebound to Monroe. So Ronald Monroe, with those bright orange socks, will give one off to Jones. Jones right back to Monroe. Maybe too much passing, and there was a turnover to the Mustang. Nearing the halfway mark of our second quarter. 13-point lead for Fort Bend Bush. Maybe potentially staring another rematch with Travis in the face down the line. They played 3 times already this year, and, well, Bush has won all 3. Have to get by the Mustangs first. Did Jones commit the foul?
Turnover.
Turnover instead. Last loss for these Broncos, Joe, is back on January 3rd to Elkins. It was a 3-point loss. They've won 12 straight games since. Nice article in the Chronicle recently about how some of the players discussed the fact that was a wake-up call. Coach Courtney told me today, he said, we were feeling pretty good. We thought we were pretty good. We had to refocus after that loss.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, the same thing happened. Elkins beat them. The seniors at that time said, we're not losing again. They didn't lose again. They won the state championship.
You know, Elkins had a good ball club this year. They didn't make the playoffs. That'll tell you how tough that district was.
Jalen Hart attacked the rim. Didn't get it to drop, but he'll have free throws.
Like you said earlier, last 3 years, Fort Bend School has represented the region in the state tournament.
Indeed, 3 straight years, 4 of the last 5. Looks like we have a timeout with 3:57 to play in our second quarter. Fort Bend Bush leads by 13. We'll be back after this on the Legacy Sports Network.
When it comes to keeping my car looking good, there's only one place I trust, Bubbles Car Wash. That's because only Bubbles uses landfill mitts with every hand wash, and their detailing crew removes every last bit of dirt. Only the best for my car, that's Bubbles.
Time to check in with Jim Hicks.
And I found a brim in the stands that can pretty much match my brim. I had to come and speak to the ex-state champion, of course, Gary McGee, from the ex-Madison High School state champs of 2005. Hey, what are you seeing in this game tonight?
It's a good game, competitive game. Bush should win the game. I mean, they're more athletic. And again, if we can keep control Motley, we'll be okay.
Well, you finished from Madison. I know you said we control Motley. What's going on with that?
I have nephews that play at Bush. Ronald Monroe, Don Monroe. And I've been following Coach Courtney, who's done a marvelous job, not only here, but also his jobs at Willow Ridge and the extent of Texas Southern University as well.
Now, your Madison team went 40-0 back in '85. Now, I heard talk about who would be the best team ever. Some of the old Wheatley teams are 68, 69, even 72. Cashmere team is 73. How do you think that Madison team would have stacked up against Courtney's Willow Ridge Eagles with 2001 with T.J. Ford?
We had a team full of dogs. And, you know, we couldn't be pressed. And plus, we had an X factor. We had a guy named Sean Gay. When you get in the middle, they had to make a decision. What they going to do? You going to come to Q, you going to throw the alley-oop to Kimo, or you going to throw the alley-oop to Ivan Jones, or you going to take it down the middle himself. So it's just different styles of play. The team I'm most competitive with, that Yates team. You know, that was our rival. I would tell people now, we would beat that team by 20 at least.
Well, I'm going to take that and run with it. But thanks a bunch, hey, Gary, for your time. Back to you, Coach Joe Price, and, of course, Brett.
Ronald Monroe with an easy basket there. Earlier, Jalen Hart hit a couple of free throws. So it's a 13-point lead for Fort Bend Bush. Nearing the 3-minute mark here before the half. North Shore averages 60 a game. There's another turnover. And Joe, how many are we up to for the Mustangs?
Yeah, the Mustangs have 10. Bush has 5.
Almost as many turnovers as points for North Shore.
Yeah. It was kind of frustrating on Motley's part. Every time he touched it, another guy's running at him, so he can probably expect that all night.
It's one thing to have a double team, but with that athleticism and that speed, it's just been tough on him.
Yeah, it has.
Chandre Jones controls for Fort Bend Bush. Oubre under the basket. Boy, missed the easy one. Motley clears, and Motley's going to bring it up himself. On the move. Under the basket, Burks had his shot swatted away. Motley tried to control, but Monroe stole. Now Oubre gets a chance to dish. Monroe will score. The Broncos in transition add to their lead. 15-point cushion. That might be the largest of the game for Fort Bend Bush.
I think it is.
Michael Capers had one stripped away. This is going to be showtime for Oubre. 9 points for the junior star, and that forces another North Shore timeout with 2:06 to play. Well, you could see the eyes get big for Oubre once he got in that open court.
Yeah.
That is 9 points for the junior. A couple of emphatic slam dunks. Right now you see Coach David Green. And Joe, what do you tell your team right now? I mean, they had hopes, of course, of maybe pulling off an upset of sorts, but they're down 17 points and in danger of falling behind even more.
Basically, I have to tell them we have to settle down. You know, we're playing out of control. You know, we got double-digit turnovers. We're not making them turn it over, and we just got to settle down.
Turnovers have certainly been a key because, as we discussed earlier, what North Shore was able to do in that win against Clements, a 63-46 win in the second round, was shoot almost 80% in two-point field goals, get a lot of turnovers, easy baskets, and tonight they've had to work and compete for their 12 points.
Well, the thing about it, every possession is priceless.
And even though the Broncos are out on the court, Coach Green still coaching up his team. 2:06 to play before the half. Right now, Joe, if you're a coach, are you thinking in terms of how much you can chip into this deficit before you really get a chance to recalibrate at the break?
Well, we're down 17 right now with 2 minutes to go in the half. If we can get this thing down to about 10 or inside of 10, I think, you know, we can make it competitive in the second half. If they go up by 20 or more, by halftime, it's just going to be psychological problems for North Shore.
One thing that's impressed me about Bush, the way they've been able to push the Mustangs away from the basket. We've talked about the double teams for Motley. I was going to say it hasn't led to many open threes, and I can't finish the thought before Michael Capers gets one. That was one of the few they've had passing out for a triple.
Yeah.
Big hit, though, right there. That begins the process of chipping away. A near steal. Jalen Hart thought he had another, but the official says it remains Bush basketball. That could have been a nice swing.
Yeah, it looked like it came off the guy from Bush's knee.
Chandre Jones had that ball taken away. Jalen Hart to Motley. Showtime. 5 quick points for the Mustangs, Joe, if you talked about chipping into that deficit.
If they can get it inside of 10.
So it's a 12-point cushion. Chandre Jones tries to answer. Motley can't get the rebound. It's loose on the floor. Are we going to have a foul? Indeed we are. Ladarius Johnson was competing for the rebound while he was on the ground. He will get the foul. That is just, well, that's number 6, I believe, now on the Broncos. So just a moment ago, it was a 17-point deficit. Now it's 12, and the Mustangs have the basketball. Here comes Brandon Etienne. He averages 12 a game. He's not scored here tonight. Motley up for the high screen. Etienne tries to get open from the free throw line. First 2 of the night. That's 7 in a row now for the Mustangs. Trying to get a steal here in the backcourts, but Ronald Monroe will break. They take it to Motley. It leads to a baseline jumper. It won't go. Oubre had his hand on it. And do we have a foul? 2 officials get together. What are we going to have? It's on Motley. That's his 3rd. That's a tough foul, Joe. Just competing for a loose ball.
Yeah.
Aaron Smith will check in. And Motley, with those 3 fouls, will take a seat. So a 7-0 run got the Mustangs back into this one. Motley will sit for the remaining 37 seconds. Broncos have scored 11 points here in the quarter. They may hold for the final shot. Oubre, though, is open. He was surrounded once he took that pass. There's the ball handling skills I mentioned before from Jones, but he can't finish. Michael Capers on the other end for North Shore. Gliding to the hoop, can't get it to go. Somehow he gets the rebound back. Second quarter winding down. And a chance for a 3-point play from Jerry Foster.
They've cut it inside of 10, which is good. Got a chance to bring it down to 7.
Coach, when you said that, I didn't dispute the fact that would be a great thing to happen. I didn't know if it would happen, but that's a 9-0 run.
Right, after the timeout.
After the timeout. And a chance to make it a 10-0 run, but the free throw won't go. And that will do it for our first half. What looked like to be a blowout for the Broncos has turned into a bowl game. A 9-0 run for the Mustangs to close the first half. It's an 8-point lead for Fort Bend Bush at the half. And we'll be back with more right here on the Legacy Sports Network.
We welcome you to North Shore Marine. We support a large parts and accessories for Johnson, Evinrude, Yamaha, and Suzuki. And we also have parts for your boat, not only just the motor. So you can come in and get pretty much everything you need and be on your way. So you name it, we got it. We sell Sea Arc aluminum boats, a wide variety we try to keep in stock so we can accommodate just about everybody. We service Johnson, Evinrude, Yamaha, and Suzuki. We have a master technician in our staff, and he's highly accredited. Well, of course, we're a family-oriented business. We try to keep it on that level. We're concerned for the well-being of our customers. Come visit us at North Shore Marine.
Back here in Pearland, about ready for third quarter action. Fort Bend Bush with a 29-21 lead over the Mustangs. But Joe, at one point, with about a minute and a half to go, 2 minutes before the break, it was 29-12, and then a 9-0 Mustangs run to end the half has made things interesting.
Well, it did, and basically that's what the Mustangs needed to do to try to have a chance to get back into this ball game. I felt like if they cut it inside of 10, you know, they can have something positive to think about the second half to have a chance to win it.
Our leading scorers, Kelly Oubre, our featured player for the Broncos, has scored 9 points, a couple of acrobatic slams. Meanwhile, for North Shore, Jonathan Motley has 8 points, and Coach, he's really had to work to get those 8 points.
He has, and like I said, every time he's gotten it on the block, another guy has ran at him, and you know that really can cause you to be real frustrated. You don't get too many good open looks.
Brett Dolan and Joe Price again with you tonight. And the one thing Motley did, he picked up that third foul with about 30 seconds to go at the half. If you're the Broncos, do you attack him early in the third quarter and try and get that fourth foul?
Real early. We'll go right at him right from the start.
There you see the Mustangs in white, the Broncos in orange. We've flipped sides, ready to play third quarter action here in this regional quarter final. 2 teams that have both won 30 games this season, playing for the right to advance. And the Broncos trying to regain that mojo, that momentum they had before the end of the half. Chandre Jones with 7 points, their talented point guard, will find Monroe in the corner. It leads to a 3-ball. And it hit the top of the backboard, and that'll give it to the Mustangs. Etienne, Jalen Hart, 2 guards in the backcourt. You see them as they advance near the timeline. Etienne with 1 field goal, 2 points, controls Motley up high for the screen. Mustangs have had 6 straight wins since their loss back on January 29th. Capers the give to Motley. He'll score off the glass, and that's 10 points for Motley. It's an 11-0 run for North Shore. Jones tries to answer. Was long on that jumper. See if Motley gets another chance. It's Etienne instead. Down the lane, another basket.
Just like that, they're back in the game.
Boy, 13 straight points when it looked like the Broncos were going to run away and hide. Kelly Oubre lost the ball. Motley will throw one down again.
15-0 run.
15-0 run indeed.
It's anybody's game now.
These fans have something to cheer about now. 2-point game. That pass was deflected out of bounds, and it'll stay in favor of the Broncos. So the intensity is certainly picked up. Kelly Oubre over Motley from the free throw line. Boy, missed badly on that one. So a chance for a tie game for the Mustangs. Motley will miss, gets his rebound and scores. 17 straight points for the Mustangs to tie this game. Joe, I wouldn't have believed it if you told me that a couple of minutes ago.
Yeah.
The Broncos need an answer. There's their senior point guard. He missed, and Motley pulls one down. Etienne on the run. Leads to a 3-ball from the corner. It's in from Michael Capers.
That's a 20-0 run, isn't it?
20-0 run. 20-0 run. It was 29-12 when this run started. The Broncos with the lead, and they've not scored since. There's a ball deflected out of bounds, a near steal. Instead, it remains Fort Bend Bush basketball. If you're Coach Courtney, do you consider a timeout at all here?
I think you should. You got to do something to stop the bleeding.
Broncos desperately need a basket. Was there a travel? Yes, from Johnson. There may be some interested observers checking some scores tonight, wondering how the Broncos are doing. And they might be shocked to see this big lead, this lead now for the Mustangs after a huge lead earlier for Fort Bend Bush. Capers just hit a three. Pretty good move by Motley until he lost the basketball. There was a ball swatted away. It was just lost apparently by Smith. Out of bounds, Fort Bend Bush basketball. A couple of times I thought Motley was going to have the shot, and he passed off. Oubre into the lane, he lost it. Tries to go up over Motley and couldn't do so. Motley on the push. Flying to the basket is Hart, and that's goaltending. Jalen Hart gets credit for the baskets. I don't know if I've seen many 22-0 runs.
I tell you, like a tale of two halves now. I think Coach Gardner's waiting for the TV timeout.
We're approaching that, but the Broncos haven't scored since about halfway through that second quarter. We're halfway through the third. Chandre Jones for Oubre in the corner. That left-handed jumper hits a much-needed three, and that's a dozen for Oubre, and it ends the run. So the Mustangs still have the lead, but it's down to 2. It's 34-32. And Etienne goes to work from the elbow, the runner. Boy, gets his own rebound amongst 3 Broncos, and then he lost the ball, and that one is going to be in the backcourt. It'll be Bush basketball. And we're going to have a media timeout. Boy, the intensity has picked up. The scoring has as well. 3:41 to play in the third. Mustangs lead by 2. Back after this on the Legacy Sports Network. Two-point lead for the Mustangs, and we will locate Jim Hicks. Check in with Jim.
Well, one thing about these types of games is the officiating, and I've found an official in the stands who's been watching it at point-blank range, and it's just Mr. Branch, of course, from out of Friendswood. Tell us a little bit about what the officials are looking for in these type of big games.
Okay, these are big games, and what the officials want to do is they want to let the guys play. And the big thing about this type of game is that when you got two teams of this caliber, a lot of these guys can play through a lot of the basic fouls that a guy would normally call in a regular game. So really and truly, you want to try to let the players play through a little bit of soft contact and get the big calls, because in big games you usually want to focus in on the big calls.
Thanks a bunch, and for your expertise on that, of course, and you referee in a lot of the college ranks as well as the high school for years. And we'll definitely thank a bunch for that, and we'll take it back to you, Coach Price, and of course, Brett.
Okay, Jim. Broncos trying to tie or maybe take the lead with a 3. Trying to withstand that 22-0 run. It ended when Oubre hit a 3. Oubre's open again, and he wants the basketball. The Broncos haven't been able to get it to him. So it's Jones. His 3-ball wouldn't go. Did Motley get the foul? If he did, that's number 4. And indeed, Motley gets the rebound. Just as we were talking about this discussion with the officials, what they let go. Thought Motley had it, but foul number 4 will take him out of commission. Checking in is Jeray Foster, a 6'4 sophomore. Jones pulls the trigger on a three and it won't fall. And Foster, well, it was Smith who got that rebound. Joe, what do the Mustangs need to do now with Motley on the bench?
Well, I don't think they're going to be concerned with going inside, you know, with those big guys that Bush have, but they're just going to have to be real patient offensively.
Foster had his shot swatted away, but we had contact and a foul. And you see our official there approaching the scores table.
I see that replay. That could have been goaltending.
Foster to the line. It's just the 11 free throw tries all season. He had made 8. So Foster has 2 points tonight, trying to make it 3. Boy, I missed them both. Oubre, the pull.
This could be one of those games where free throws could be important down the stretch.
Haven't had a lot because we haven't had a lot of fouls yet. Boy, that'll change.
Well, that's true.
Oubre hanging out in the corner. It's Ronald Monroe controlling for the Broncos. After 1 quarter tonight, it was a 14-point lead for Bush. In fact, the Mustangs had just 4 points after that first quarter. Much different story now. Jones pulls up for the 3. Can't get it to go. Oubre tipped the rebound, but it was Etienne coming out of the pile with it. He's on the push against Monroe, and then his path cut off. Leads to a jumper from Capers. Under the basket, a putback and a basket from Foster. 4-point lead for North Shore. Right place at the right time for Foster. He got the putback and a chance for a 3-point play. Foul was charged to Ronald Monroe. So Foster just missed a couple of free throws. We'll see if he can make this one. He's missed 3 straight. So it is a 36-32 lead. Oubre attacks the rim. Couldn't drop in the finger roll, but he was fouled. The foul was charged to Jalen Hart. So Oubre with 12 points. He's had a 3-pointer here in this second half. We'll learn a couple of free throws from the line. The silky left-handed shooter. ESPN has him as the 43rd best player in the country. That's a Baker's dozen 13. Again, he got 20 the other night against Manville in that second round playoff victory. It turned out to be a 14-point win for the Broncos. And the lead remains 3. Mustangs the lead and the basketball as we approach the 140 mark here in our third quarter from Pearland tonight. Etienne found a seam. Teardrop! And he scores again.
Coach Green is going to that Golden Triangle offense. That's a spread game.
5-point lead, biggest lead by far. Oubre gets charged with an offensive foul. Coach, these Broncos have not been tested that much this year. So good, so talented. What's going through their players' minds right now as their big lead has turned into a 5-point deficit?
Well, they're probably thinking, you know, we had a 17-point lead, had a chance to really put them away, and then we got comfortable with it, and they went on a 22-0 run, and we got to work to get back into this game.
And it's only natural as a player to try and get all those points back in one shot. I mean, there's no 5-point play, so you know you still have to remain somewhat patient.
That's true.
Oubre just committed the foul. Did he get another?
That was a timeout.
Timeout first.
I think Coach Green is upset with all the dribbling on Capers' part.
Timeout North Shore. It's a 30-second timeout. We'll keep it here. A 5-point lead for the Mustangs with $1.06 to play here in our third quarter.
They're going to stay in that spread game and try to get some high percentage shots, you know, with Motley sitting on the bench. They can spread Bush out. it might be to their advantage.
You know these guards, Etienne and Hart, quite well. Guys that you've known since they were young kids, and it would seem like their ball handling and their ability to hit free throws will come into play now.
Well, you know, I had those guys on varsity as freshmen, and they've really grown up in 2 years, and you know they're definitely going to be prospects next year too. But I mean, they're not afraid. I can tell you right now, they're not afraid.
Confidence also increases once you start not only to stay with a team like Bush, but to lead a team like Bush.
That's true.
Etienne will control in the backcourt. So,
back into the spread game.
See if the Mustangs can spread things out, just as Joe predicted. And a bump and a foul on Monroe.
I think Monroe got a little frustrated. You know, he got a guy that's probably quicker than he is, and he just decided to push on him as long as he could get away with it.
That's the 14th foul on Bush, just 2 for North Shore. So again, everybody bunched up, as you see right there near the timeline. Jalen Hart now with the basketball, controlling for North Shore. One time down by 17, now up by 5. Trying to pull off an upset tonight in advance and knock off these Broncos. Open look at a basket for Derek Burks.
They got what they wanted out of it.
So a 7-point lead, and now the Broncos need to find some answers before this third quarter ends. Not much time remaining. Brandon Jones goes to work, and he can't get the roll. The tip out comes to Monroe. Power move, no basket from Jones, but he'll earn 2 from the stripe with 13 seconds to play. Hey, Coach David Green's into this game here from North Shore. Brandon Jones averages just under 10 a game, the 6'5 junior, 2 from the stripe. And the Broncos in need of points, and that's a miss, so Jones can't provide it yet. Keep in mind, the Mustangs have extended the lead when Motley went to the bench with his 4th foul.
Yeah, they have. And you know what? They'll probably start the fourth quarter without him.
That Manville win, and Bush picked up the victory. Traylon Ferris, the Mavericks' top player, dealt with foul trouble most of the game and really hurt Manville. There's a free throw make from Jones. One final chance here for North Shore. Etienne goes to work. Jumper won't go from Kerwin Roach, and we have completed 3 quarters tonight. North Shore 1 quarter away from pulling the upset. They lead Bush by 6. Don't go anywhere. Back for the 4th quarter after this on the Legacy Sports Network.
Lucy loves to shop. Lucy also loves to save. Luckily, Lucy can do both with her new First Community Credit Union Platinum Credit Card. Not only can Lucy save on that new dress, she can also get those new shoes, too. Apply today and take advantage of everything a First Community Credit Union Platinum Credit Card has to offer, including a 12-month 2.99% APR introductory rate. You really can shop and save like Lucy. First Community Credit Union, official credit union of the Houston Texans.
We're ready for 4th quarter action. It's a 6-point lead for the Mavericks, and let's check in again with Jim Hicks.
Now, one thing about the stands, you never know who you'll see at a high school basketball game in Greater Houston. And I found a very well figure around the Houston area, Mr. Byron B. Smith. And of course, now tell us a little bit about you from Louisiana, and you're scouting the Kelly Oubre is from Louisiana. What are you looking at when you see Mr. Oubre?
Well, you know, I've heard a lot about the kid. I haven't really seen him play a lot, but you know, obviously I've heard that he's one of the better players in the state, maybe one of the better players in the country at his position. Just want to come out and kind of get a feel, see how he played, and he really hasn't, you know, done a whole lot, but he's he's got a great body, and seems like he's got a pretty good feel for the game. So I guess everything I've heard about him has been pretty much true. Now, thanks for going, Mr. Byron B. Smith. You are
college coach, of course, at Texas A&M, and when DeAndre Jordan is doing his run, and we definitely appreciate you. And we have another college coach on the side of you. You know, of course, for NCAA rules, coaches aren't able to talk during the live broadcast, so we won't say anything to him. But he's a guy with the purple and gold colors with LSU on his shirt. But anyway, we'll take it back to Coach Price and, of course, Brett in regards to that nature.
All right, Jim, well, the lead is now 8 for the Mustangs. So the Broncos at one time leading by 17, trying to find some answers offensively there. Is it a score or nope? A charge first. What looked like an easy basket. Instead, it's an offensive foul on Chandre Jones and a big turn of events for the Broncos.
I tell you, that's just like a turnover. North Shore got the game right where they wanted. You know, they got the lead. Motley's on the bench with 4 fouls. They run a spread game and getting easy baskets out of it.
You're right about Motley, Joe. He starts the quarter on the bench with those 4 fouls. Monroe picks up another foul right there. That is 7 on Fort Bend Bush. Joe, I thought for the first quarter and a half, the Broncos' athleticism and speed really took North Shore out of their offense. And right now it seems like the Broncos are chasing. They're the ones trying to answer the speed of North Shore, and they're committing a lot of fouls in so doing.
Well, that's true. And, you know, the way the game started, the Broncos were killing them on the boards, and now North Shore's really got into a comfort zone now.
They have 16 fouls up on the board. They did not change with that sequence, so there's a high lob in the backcourt. North Shore lucky to keep the basketball. Roach controlled briefly. North Shore getting some surprise contributions from guys off the bench, and Kerwin Roach just flings one into the hoop. Even Coach Courtney has to laugh on that one, but he's not laughing on the inside.
I think that was meant to be a pass.
It is a 10-point lead for North Shore. Again, at one point down 17 points. Oubre goes to work. Briefly lost the ball. He needs some points. He's fouled. And we'll have to go back to that free throw line. Foul goes to Kerwin Roach.
You know, situations like this with Motley on the bench with 4 fouls, I think it really kind of changes Bush's game plan. They knew North Shore was going to go inside as much as possible to Motley. Now, what do you have for a defensive standpoint to defend the spread game? You know, North Shore's quickness.
Right.
So
it's changed everything dramatically.
Dramatically.
When you thought that could be a turning point, it's actually allowed the Mustangs to enhance this lead. And Oubre's missed 2 straight free throws, so trying for his 14 points. One minute gone here in our fourth and possibly final quarter. And for the Broncos, they're hoping it's not their final quarter of the season. They earn a turnover there, and will get the ball back.
Yeah, Bush is extending their pressure. But I still believe North Shore's quickness can withstand this pressure.
Aaron Smith replaces Foster. Joe, what do the Broncos need to do to get back in some flow offensively?
Well, for one thing, everything offensively for them have to start with their defense. They're going to have to cause North Shore to turn it over and make some stops. They can't afford to turn it over.
Jones trying to get open. Monroe will shoot a 3 instead. Oh, more. Missed that one so badly it leads to an easy look, and then a follow is good from Brandon Jones.
See, that's where they can hurt you is on those boards.
That's what they were doing in that first quarter.
Correct.
Mustangs a 7-point lead in the ball. There's Capers a bit out of control, and the foul will go against the Broncos. Foul charge to Jones.
I think Coach Green to bring Miley back in at about the 5-minute mark, I would think.
Right now he's a cheerleader. You know he's anxious to get back in there, but Mustangs have been able to play well without him.
Well, it's always good to know that you got, you know, some backup plan. You know, you got some guys on the bench that can come in and contribute. Like Capers has come in and did a real good job off the bench. You know, he probably has 7 or 8 points.
7 points indeed. And for a man who averages 5 a game.
Yeah.
Very good free throw shooter, and he's going to try and make them both here.
I think he hit 10 free throws in a row earlier in the year against Willow Ridge.
Well, you jinxed him, but the Broncos with the ball. Foul as Oubre tried to convert. A couple of times he has gone to the rim and drawn the contact in the free throws, but been unable to finish. Aaron Smith gets the foul. Now that's his 4th. 6'4" senior. Maybe that's a time for Motley to come back in.
Well, no, I think he would let Aaron stay in, and if he fouls out, then he'll bring Motley.
So Oubre's been a busy man from the free throw line, and now has 15 points in this game, below his 22-point-a-game average. So the 6'7" junior try and tighten up this game by another point.
They're still extending their press full court. Got to get somebody in the middle. There you go.
And a whistle and a foul. Now we're going to shoot some free throws. Going to the line will be Etienne. He is a 58% free throw shooter this year.
Free throw shooting will be important down the stretch these last 5 minutes. Both teams in the bonus. You make your free throws, you got a chance.
You called that a few minutes ago, and it looks like it's going to be even more accurate now. Boy, that's a big miss, and Oubre another rebound. So the game is 6. Easy look and an easy score by Brandon Jones. At one point, Bush led by 17. At one point, North Shore led by 10. But it's a 4-point game with 5.5 to play and a right to advance. And North Shore wants a timeout. Coach Green not happy with that. I don't know if the momentum has swung back yet to Bush because they're down 4, but they're playing with a little more intensity than we've seen in quite some time. Right there you see Coach David Green and his assistants getting ready to talk to the Mustangs, who lead it by 4 points. Still no Motley, huh, Joe?
Yeah, I still think they're waiting for that 5-minute mark. But he's coming in now.
So indeed, Motley has scored 14 points, but has 4 fouls, and he's dealt with fouls. He got his 3rd with about 30 seconds to go before halftime. Picked up his 4th, trying to compete for a loose ball rebound relatively early in the 3rd. Mustangs, though, extended the lead without him. Now the Broncos have chipped back into this, and primarily, Joe, they've gotten a couple of baskets from 2 or 3 feet away, and maybe Motley can disrupt that with his size and shot blocking ability.
Well, the press really has gotten Bush back into this game. You know, after being down 10, they've probably been on a 6-0 run now.
So Oubre will front the inbound. And that's Capers. Oubre causing some problems. And the ball is thrown off the backboard. And that'll be Bush, basketball, and Oubre with his size able to earn a turnover. So the Broncos get a hit here. Boy, it'll be game on.
Yeah, 5:29 to go. Mustangs up by 4.
So it's Chandre Jones controlling. He scored 7 points in this game, trying to operate the offense for the Broncos. So their coach Courtney. Oubre down the lane. Thought it could have been a charge. 2 bodies hit the floor. No foul called. Motley the rebound. Jalen Hart on the push. Motley down the lane. He couldn't get the finger roll to go. He missed it. He was so high above the rebound, but didn't drop it in. Broncos a chance to cut into the lead. And they do from Brandon Ganaway. His first 3 points of the game.
Is that a 9-0 run for Bush?
I think it is. It's a 1-point lead. And the shot is up and in.
That's Capers.
9 for Capers. Game on. 4:30 to play tonight from Pearland. Jones was bumped, but no foul called. Oubre, a long-range three, was going for the tie. And we had a foul going against North Shore. I think it was Burks trying to clear out on the rebound, pushing his defender out of bounds. He'll get the foul. And as Joe pointed out earlier, we're going to shoot a lot of free throws the remainder of this game.
All right.
Brandon Jones, who's 1 of 2 from the stripe, will go to the line for a 1 in the bonus. The foul was charged to Burks. That's his first. Nearing that media timeout here in the 4th quarter, but still a few seconds to play. And boy, the intensity is ratcheted up even further. And the free throw will not fall. Big miss from Jones. Jalen Hart being harassed, dribbling out of trouble. His pass was deflected. Stolen by Jones. Broncos, oh, they had numbers, and Ronald Monroe carried it. Looked like that was going to be a fast break opportunity, and it did not work for Bush.
It did. We're going back into the spread game.
There's a 3 try for the baseline, an air ball from Capers. So again, the Broncos a chance to make it a 1-point game or tie with a 3. They got it down to 1, closest they have been. Jones will draw contact, and there's a foul charge to Capers. Brings us to a media timeout. 3:38 to play. Don't go anywhere. Mustangs by 3. Back after this on the Legacy Sports Network.
We welcome you to North Shore Marine. We support a large parts and accessories for Johnson, Evinrude, Yamaha, and Suzuki. And we also have parts for your boat, not only just the motor. So you can come in and get pretty much everything you need and be on your way. So you name it, we got it. We sell Sea-Ark aluminum boats, a wide variety we try to keep in stock so we can accommodate just about anybody. We service Johnson, Evinrude, Yamaha, and Suzuki. We have a master technician in our staff, and he's highly accredited. Well, of course, we're a family-oriented business. We try to keep it on that level. We're concerned for the well-being of our customers. Come visit us at North Shore Marine.
Let's check in with Jim Hicks.
And we're at Pearland. I found 3 orange in the building. Of course, the man with the plan, my man Cameron Reynolds. And hey, tell me one thing. You guys went down to Travis High School in the second round and overtime. How was that loss? What happened on the stretch?
We just couldn't make the big plays on this end of the stretch. A couple bad calls on the ref, but we're not going to blame it on the ref. It's just plays that we didn't make.
Of course, you have 2 of your teammates here, but who you have with us right now?
Devon Begley and Jordan McGarry.
And of course now, Begley, this is your team next year. Your junior be coming back. Tell us what you see in this excitement in this game down the stretch real quick. Quickly.
We got to get ready to play next year. We got to be more tough and physical because we're not as big as we were, but we're going to be ready.
And of course, you heard it best from the Pearland Oilers at Pearland High School. And back to you, Coach Price, and of course, Brett.
Jim, while we were away, Chandre Jones made 2 free throws to make it a 1-point game, but Michael Capers, another basket, 11 points. He's had a big game.
He has, off the bench, done a great job contributing.
3-point lead for North Shore. 3 minutes to play in this game. Oubre goes to work into the paint, draws contact, and 1! Get a chance with a free throw to tie the game with 2:56 to play. Oubre was a man on the mission. I mentioned earlier a couple of times he's gone to the basket, been fouled, not made the hoop. That time he did.
Yeah, he's definitely played big tonight. He probably got 18 points or more.
18 indeed for the tie. New ball game.
0-0.
17-point lead for Bush evaporated. The Mustangs at a 10-point lead. Brand new game. 2:50 to play for the right to advance. Attacking the basket and scoring again is Burks. And the tie is short-lived. It's a 2-point lead again for the Mustangs. Oubre was bumped from behind by Capers. He was passing. It won't matter. He'll shoot free throws. Because the Broncos will be in the double bonus. Oubre's 5 of 7 from the free throw line tonight. He'll need them both to tie here. And he missed. It was indeed 2 free throws, but he missed the first.
Had a violation.
.233 to play in this game. It was an 18-4 Fort Bend lead after 1 quarter. Joe, I thought North Shore just jumped in on that first free throw. You thought maybe there was a violation. If there was a violation, Oubre gets another.
Well, it was a violation on Capers. I think he stepped inside of the free throw line extended on the first free throw.
That's a big violation right there. Gives Oubre another chance to tie this game. 20 points for the 6'7" junior. Another tie. 21 of the 51 for the Broncos has come from Kelly Oubre. See if the Mustangs can answer. Motley has not scored in quite some time with his foul trouble. Coach Courtney up instructing his defense. Boy, Hart nearly traveled. Capers controlling for the Mustangs, defended by Jones. Jalen Hart goes to work, and Oubre stuck up his hands and committed the foul. So free throws coming from Jalen Hart. Now he is a 51% free throw shooter in more than 100 tries this year. He's had 2 tries tonight. He's made them both, but none bigger than what he's about to attempt.
That's true. And, you know, if you want to consider himself a big-time player make big-time plays in these situations.
And the Mustangs back in front by a point. So 5 points for Jalen Hart tonight. He stepped up and made them both. Etienne was ready to check in. Taking a seat will be Kerwin Roach, so it's a 2-point lead again for the Mustangs. Broncos have been running uphill most of the second half. Brandon Jones will locate his senior point guard, Jones. Under the basket, Motley the block.
Big time block there.
Boy, more than 70 this season. He went up and stuffed one from point blank range. So the Mustangs the lead in the ball. And a shot from short range wouldn't drop. Jones wants to push. He'll pull up for three. And the lead. No good. Oubre follows. Tie game. 1:15 to play. Timeout, Bush. 23 points by Oubre. He followed the miss on the three ball. That would have given the Broncos the lead. Joe, I don't know what it is about the games you and I have done this year, with the exception of that North Shore game against Deer Park. We have had some outstanding close games.
We have. We definitely have.
You see Coach Courtney right there, and you talked about this in the open, the experience that these two coaches bring to the table in this game.
Well, you know, like I said at the start, they both have been in the state tournament. Coach Green, you know, I like to kid him. He's been to the state tournament 3 different times and never won. I always tell him, you're always a bridesmaid, never a bride.
And how does he take that?
Oh, he just laughs it off.
North Shore will have the basketball. Joe, do you consider holding for the final shot if you can get it, or are you still looking for your best shot?
Well, I think your best shot, but I think you want your best shot to be a high percentage shot. And you know, high percentage means layup. I would think that North Shore would probably go back in that spread game, and Bush will probably back off. I don't think they'll be trapping or doing anything like that. They'll probably just back off. Matter of fact, Bush might be in a zone. You know, you never know.
Almost looks like that's what they're setting up in now. We'll find out. $1:15 to play. Even at 53. So much talent on the floor tonight.
Yeah, well, if it was me, I'd play for the last shot. I said we're going to either go overtime or win it in regulation.
See what the Mustangs have in mind. It doesn't look like right now they're in any hurry.
No, they're not.
We're inside a minute.
I think North Shore might have one more timeout left.
Motley's beyond the arc on the left side. There was the timeout called by North Shore. 37 seconds to play.
I believe that's his last one, too.
Coach Green was really animated. Did he not want to call a timeout in that sequence?
I don't think he did. You know, I would think that he probably wanted to call a timeout with about 15 seconds to go. But the ball was in Capers' hand. You know, Capers is not a high-quality type ball handler, you know, compared to Brandon Etan or Jalen Hart. And Coach Green probably got a little nervous and decided, hey, we better use this timeout right now before we turn it over.
Now it puts a premium on getting the ball inbounds.
That's true. But the thing about it, you still want to concentrate on trying to get the highest percentage shot that you can get. And I would think if he's going to hold for the last shot, I would try to put it up with about 5 seconds to go, just in case, you know, it's missed and we'll have a chance for the offensive board and a putback.
And there's the man, number 35 in Motley, would be a candidate to try and put one back if he's not the one doing the shooting.
That's true. But I think one of the things that North Shore has done this half, you know, I know they went up by 10. They've held the Jones kid in check this half. I don't think he has that many points this half, if any. Maybe a couple free throws.
Here we go. 34 seconds in regulation. So many people may be anticipating a Bush-Travis rematch, but for that to happen, they have to win tonight. And the Mustangs have a different idea on who would like to advance. They have a chance here, maybe in regulation, to win.
There's a foul, and that's going to be 2 shots.
Foul was on Brendan Ganaway, a sophomore who was in the game. And it's going to send Kerwin Roach to the line. Now, Roach has not attempted a free throw tonight, Joe, and he is 19 of 22 this year. So a pretty good free throw shooter in limited opportunities.
Well, let's hope we don't jinx him. These are big right here.
6'1" sophomore, had 11 points in that win against Clemens. And Etienne just put his hands on his head after that miss. So even if there's a make, the Broncos will have a chance to win, barring an offensive rebound. But right now there's nobody for the Mustangs even on the block, so they're not going to get this rebound. Aaron Smith will check in for North Shore. And Michael Capers, who's had a big game, 11 points, will take a seat. Kerwin Roach has probably never shot a free throw of greater importance than right now.
Yeah, it's a big jump coming from the freshman team to the varsity in 1 year.
No good. Near turnover in the backcourt. Chandre Jones controls. The Broncos can win. 10 seconds to play. The senior point guard, the outstanding ball handler, maintaining the dribble. Gets up in the air. The give to Monroe. Shot is off the mark. Jalen Hart from half court. Off the rim. No good. Overtime from Pearland. Ready for one more quarter, Joe?
4 more minutes.
Back for OT. Tied at 53. Don't go anywhere. Network.
Footage was captured at a local grocery store. This man just took money from his bank that wasn't in his account. Did you catch it? Let's see that again. There, he just got 10 cents back for every $10 or more purchase on his debit card with cashback counts checking from Community Bank. Imagine a bank that actually pays you to use your debit card. Swipe all you can from your bank. Community Bank of Texas. Bank where you live.
What a game in Pearland, 53 apiece. Fort Bend Bush and North Shore. And Joe, for those tuning in that maybe watch the NBA or the college ranks and haven't watched a lot of high school basketball, what do they need to know about overtime in the high school ranks?
Well, it's 4 minutes. You know, I think the college and the pros play 5, but, you know, high schools play 4. They'll restart it with a jump ball. And those 4 minutes can be real quick. They can go by real quick. Every possession, again, is priceless.
See our two featured players right there in the center circle, Oubre and Motley, ready to jump it up just as they did an hour and a half ago. At one point, Bush led early by 17. North Shore led by 10 in the second half. The tap is controlled by the Broncos. They had a chance to win and could not in regulation. Kelly Oubre with 23 points goes to work in the paint. Chandre Jones has been somewhat quiet. He has 9 points. Dribbles out of trouble. Ganaway hit a big three earlier. Now Jones will bomb for a three. And Motley, well, no one else was going to get that rebound. Here come the Mustangs. Jalen Hart attacks the rim, couldn't drop it in. Hart gets it back and then turns it over. Here come the Broncos. Oubre thought about an NBA three, leans in, scores, so the Broncos have their first lead in quite some time. So now, Joe, the Mustangs in a position they've not been in about a half an hour, playing from behind.
Yeah.
Not any longer. Three ball from Capers. He's had 14 points in the game. Boy, what a shot from Capers, who averages 5 a game. He's had 14 points tonight. Oubre wants to control himself, being defended by Capers. A near walk and indeed a traveling violation on Ganaway. So not only do the Mustangs have the lead back, they've got the ball back, 2:31 to play in OT. Regional quarterfinal action from Pearland High School tonight.
I'll tell you what, I saw something. That last shot that Capers made, he came down and taunted a little bit. You know, I maybe want to reach over and tell Coach Green, tell him to shut up. Well, these officials nowadays, they'll hit you with a tech real quick for that.
I thought maybe Oubre lost a contact. I'm not sure. He was looking for something on the floor while he was touching his eye.
Yeah.
But Mustangs had the ball.
Back in the spread game.
Michael Capers, who just hit the big three, has the ball right there in the free throw line. Had the shot, but maybe not the one the Mustangs wanted. He'll spot up again. Michael Capers is on fire, 17 points.
Been a difference maker.
Jones can't answer. Motley the rebound. In and out, and it would not drop. Broncos led by 2 in OT, but now it's a 4-point lead for the Mustangs, and Michael Capers leading the Mustangs with 17 points. Layup try from ATN. It's a 6-point lead.
Bush will need to get a timeout now.
Quick answer from Ganaway, and now there'll be a timeout. 61-57 our score. 4-point lead for the Mustangs. They'll have the ball with a $1:21 to play. Boy, Joe, what can you say about the three-pointers from Michael Capers? 2 huge triples in OT.
I tell you, this is probably the best game Capers has had all year. He's really feeling comfortable about himself.
Now you see Coach David Green trying to find a way to eliminate the last 122 in advance. I don't know how you would classify this as an upset. I think most were probably favoring Fort Van Bush. That's taking nothing away from North Shore in their 30-4 season. When they were down 17 points early, they could have folded their tent, and they did not do so.
That's true. And, you know, Coach Green has said all along, said this is the matchup that he wanted in the third round. He just felt like he matched up well, you know, with these guys instead of Travis.
Broncos ready to play, and the Mustangs have to break their huddle.
And Bush going to extend their pressure probably to full court now. I don't know if it'd be a full court man or a full court zone, but it'd be full court.
Broncos really need to get a steal. They know the Mustangs will run some clock otherwise. Motley's pass is intercepted. Ganaway, and the give to Oubre, and a foul on the floor. Now Ganaway, not a big guy, 5'9". He was maybe worried of a block. Tried to feed Oubre, and he'll earn 2 free throws from the line. Oubre had 9 at the half. This is for his 26th point. Way short. So the Mustangs got the steal they desired. May not lead to points. Oubre makes 1 of 2. So it's a 3-point game. Michael Capers was left alone. He missed it. Motley couldn't follow. And the rebound to Burks. So a couple of big rebounds, and Coach Green wants a timeout. Boy, that could have been disastrous for the Mustangs. Some short misses, but Bush couldn't grab the rebound. Buck 1 to play. Coach Green is going to feel like he played in this game when it's over.
Oh, yeah, he was a great player in high school and college. You know, Coach Green and I are both from the same hometown. You know, he's about 10 years younger than me, but I remember him in high school. Boy, he was a great playmaker, but he just couldn't shoot. And then he went on to McNeese State University and played with Joe Dumars. And I remember one game, Coach Green had 20 assists. You know who he was getting the ball to, right? Joe Dumars.
Feeding Joe and letting him rack up the points.
Go to work.
Well, the Broncos are huddling up, and there has to be a little despair right now. They still have time, but they need to make something happen with 1:01 to play.
Well, the thing about it, you know, the Mustangs, again, going to hold the ball and not going to take any shots, not unless they just need to, which at this point they don't need to just let them foul them, but they got to make free throws. They probably made 2 out of the last 6 free throws, and that's not good.
I believe the official said North Shore is out of timeouts.
Correct.
So that will leave David Green with 1 less weapon. But his team leads by 3.
Well, if Green goes down to score here, Courtney's going to have to do something. I mean, call a timeout, score and call a timeout. But I would be trying to get the ball in my best free throw shooter's hands right now. Look at him holding.
There was a hold. The ball's entered to Hart. And Hart will quickly find Capers, who's had the big night. Capers gave it to Motley, and he lost it. So a turnover gives the Broncos a chance. They need 3 to tie. Oubre was left alone for 3, but he'll push it in against Motley. And he drew the foul, and that's 5 on Motley, who's out of the game. No, he's not scored in quite some time, but there is the shot blocking presence who's out of the game. Well, I thought for sure Oubre was going to spot it from the top of the key, Joe. He was left alone. He pushed it in against Motley. It ended up working out in the sense he drew the foul on Motley. But Oubre just hit 1 of 2 free throws. Even if he hits both, the Mustangs would still have the lead.
Yeah, and that's still a lot of time, 42 seconds. But, you know, the Mustangs just have to be a lot smarter at this stage of the game. And you play a lot smarter, you know, make the right pass. Not nobody try to be a hero. Just play smart.
26 points for this junior. He has been busy from the free throw line tonight. I believe he's 9 of 12 from the stripe. This to make it a 1-point game. Game on again. 61-60 North Shore. Now they're going to get the ball across. And a foul in the backcourt, sending Derek Burks to the floor, and now he'll be sent to the free throw line. He has not shot free throws tonight, but he's another good free throw shooter. 79% of the year. Bush led by 14 after a quarter. They led by 8 at the break. North Shore led by 6 after 3. Is tied at 53 in regulation. And free throw misses starting to add up now for the Mustangs. Michael Capers with 17 points checks back in. Nobody for North Shore at the free throw line to rebound. So it's Burks in the world, and he makes the free toss. It's a 2-point game.
Got to make a defensive stop now.
I'd still be surprised if Oubre doesn't get a look at a 3. He'll attack the rim instead. And we have a jump. We have a jump. Who's the arrow in favor? North Shore. .26 seconds to play. And a quick foul, and it was Etienne who was bumped and fouled by Ganaway. Actually, it was Jones who picked up the personal. That's his 4th. Etienne has not shot free throws tonight. 58% on the season. His team leads by 2. The big free tosses indeed. It's a 3-point lead. Well, he knuckled that one up there. Ganaway in the corner for the tie. Brand new game. Timeout. 17 seconds to play. Brendan Ganaway has hit 2 huge three-pointers in this game. We're tied at 63 with 17 seconds to play in overtime. Joe, we've had players tonight, Capers for North Shore, Ganaway for Bush. I can't imagine they've hit bigger shots in their life than tonight.
I knew it. Pressure shots, too. That was definitely a pressure shot.
You see the Bush huddle. A couple of seconds ago, things did not look good. It was a 3-point deficit. Etienne had a chance with a free throw to make it a 4-point game. He missed. Then the 3-ball from Ganaway ties it up.
Yeah, that second free throw by Brandon, he looked like he was just kind of tight. Short-handed it.
So now North Shore, without Motley, who's fouled out. What do they design up or draw up for the final 17 seconds?
Well, definitely take the last shot. You know, and like I said before, put it up in time in case there's a miss. You have a chance to rebound and put it back.
Because North Shore is out of timeouts, if you're Bush, do you pressure the ball inbounds to see if maybe they'd make a mistake or get a 5-ball?
I don't think so. You just fall back, stop them from getting a layup. You don't want to foul and the game to be side at the free throw line. They'll bring one guy up, but they'll back him off after they get it in. I don't think he'll put too much pressure on anybody.
Jalen Hartz controls for the Mustangs. 12 seconds to play in overtime. Ball game tied at 63. Capers has had the hot hand, but he's double teamed. Heaves the ball to the basket. We're going to double overtime. That was not the shot the Mustangs wanted. Soldier on. Back for overtime at number 2. Tied at 63 on the Legacy Sports Network. We'll jump it up again for overtime number 2, but Motley not in the game, so Oubre will win the tip. The Broncos control. Second 4-minute overtime stanza. Jones from the elbow. Broncos by 2. So then the Mustangs need an answer. Capers has been the man tonight, but he's not in the game right now. Joe, 10, 15, 20 years from now, the guys that played in this game, I think, are going to remember a lot about this contest.
Oh, yeah, they come back for their 10-year class reunion. Yeah, talk about it.
This is not a game you will soon forget. We're not even sure how it's going to turn out. Etienne on the 3-ball. Rebound to Burks. Putback try wouldn't go. He's under the hoop, and he'll tie the game. Boy, I thought maybe he walked.
Yeah, I think he got away with one.
Even at 65. So Jones, who just hit the basket, controls on the top of the key. Oubre's on the low blocks, into the paint, drew contact, no foul. No foul, the Mustangs have the ball. So the quick score looked like it gave Bush some momentum here in the second overtime, but the Mustangs have tied, and now they have the ball. And North Shore in no hurry. How many timeouts do they add, Coach?
1.
Okay. Because the Mustangs were out at the end of the first overtime.
Yeah. Well, you get 1 extra.
North Shore will try and shorten this game. We're inside 2 minutes here in overtime number 2. Motley fouled out. He finished with 14 points. Was not much of a factor here in the second quarter. He's missed the overtimes. But North Shore did well without him for 1 segment, but they will miss him here. Brandon Etienne guarded by Monroe. Etienne picks up the basketball. And his pass was deflected, nearly intercepted. A turnover. Here come the Broncos. Brandon Jones glides to the basket and puts Bush back in front. 2-point lead for the Broncos. Timeout North Shore. 1:09 to play. Brandon Jones, who's been quiet tonight, able to get his 10th and 11 points and make this a 67-65 Bush lead. You don't suppose there's some players from Fort Bend Travis maybe checking their phones, checking the scores to find out what this one is doing, and very curious as to who's going to win this game.
Well, I imagine their game is over with now. You're right. They're probably checking to see what's going on over here. But the thing about it, Fort Bend Travis would not have to play one of these teams unless they both met in the regional finals, which is 2 games from now.
Joe, is it just me, or are we added fans as this game has gone along? It looks like more fans have started to find their way here as this game has gotten further along.
Right, it's a nice crowd here tonight. Bush ball, a nice crowd. North Shore always have a nice following.
Quick reset, we're in our second overtime. Bush leads by 2. For the most part, North Shore here in the second half and in the overtimes has either had a lead or been tied. Bush has had very few advantages. They do now by 2 points. And it's the turnover monster that started to factor in for the Mustangs here in recent
That's
months.
true.
So North Shore ball, Jalen Hart control. Capers swinging to the baseline. He's had the big game. Jalen Hart will find Capers. Can he hit another one? They airball that one. The rebound to Brandon Jones. So the Broncos in a rare position. They've not been in a lead. Numbers were there, but they wisely will pull it up for a second until Oubre goes baseline. Boy, just about double dribble. And a foul is committed on Jones. Now, Chandre Jones, the other night against Manville, made 9 free throws. He's made both tonight. And he'll be ready for 2 big ones here.
Oh, yeah. He's the senior leader on this team.
So the senior on his way to Richmond just collected his 12 points. 3-point lead for Bush. This would be the biggest lead in quite some time if Jones can hit. He cannot. He cannot, so the Mustangs still have a chance with a 3 to tie. Inside 30 seconds in our second overtime. Coach Courtney screaming no threes. ATN will shoot one instead. And the rebound, Oubre tipped it to himself. And he will dribble out of the pile and be fouled with 15 seconds to play. Otherwise, he had a breakaway. Coach Courtney didn't want a 3 try, and yet the Mustangs had a pretty good looking one.
Good look, guy got his feet set and just didn't knock it down.
Oubre has 28 tonight and just about sealed the deal. Just 1 free throw of these 2 would make this a 2-possession game, obviously. Four-point lead. Coach Courtney wants a timeout. Ronnie Courtney is aged in this game.
Yeah, most definitely have.
As a coach,
Courtney and Coach Green have.
I think you're right. As a coach, are you exhilarated by a game like this, or are you worn out after a game like this?
Pretty much worn out. You know, just it's a whole lot of thinking and using your mind to decide on, you know, who to put in this situation and what play to run in that situation and what defense to run. And, you know, you're kind of like mentally drained.
I don't know about you, Joe, but there have been several times tonight I felt like maybe the Mustangs were 1 basket away from maybe being in a great position to win the game.
1 basket, 1 free throw. You know, I don't think their free throw percentage has been that good this game, and that's probably been the difference maker.
Oubre back to the line. This for his 30th point, and for a 5-point Fort Bend Bush lead. The Mustangs are going to have to find a 3-ball and a quick shot. Jim Hicks will have our player of the game interview, and I have a feeling, should the Broncos win, we're going to hear from this man, Kelly Oubre, going for his 30th points. Big round, even number, 30 points. 3-ball from Foster wouldn't fall. The Broncos have it. 5 seconds to play in double overtime. And the Fort Bend Broncos will survive and advance a double overtime win. 70-65 over North Shore when it looked like they might be in danger of being upset. It took 2 overtimes. Fort Bend Bush wins at 70-65. Back after this on the Legacy Sports Network.
We welcome you to North Shore Marine. We support a large parts and accessories for Johnson, Evinrude, Yamaha, and Suzuki. And we also have parts for your boat, not only just the motor. So you can come in and get pretty much everything you need and be on your way. So you name it, we got it. We sell Sea Arc aluminum boats, a wide variety we try to keep in stock so we can accommodate just about anybody. We service Johnson, Evinrude, Yamaha, and Suzuki. We have a master technician in our staff, and he's highly accredited. Well, of course, we're a family-oriented business. We try to keep it on that level. We're concerned for the well-being of our customers. Come visit us at North Shore Marine.
70-65, double overtime win for Fort Bend, and let's check in with Jim Hicks and our player of the game.
All right, I'm here with the man with the plan, Kelly Oubre. 25 big points. What did Coach tell you guys down the stretch in overtime, right before overtime, to make that surge back?
It was all about defense, man. Defense was the key. You know, they had a good team. They came, they had their little spurts, but you know, defense is the key to winning championships, man. So that's what Coach instilled in us. That's what we work hard on every day at practice, and that's what we did out here.
Well, you went in that first overtime. You went right at Jonathan Motley, made him pick up the 5th foul. What was that plan, or was that part of what did you tell us about that?
I knew that he had 4 fouls. He a good shot blocker, long, athletic. So we had to go at him, get him out the game, because he was the big reason in the paint that they was getting all their buckets.
And so now, early on, of course, Chandre Jones, the shot was kind of funky midway through the game. He picked up down the stretch, and big players step up and make big plays in big games. Tell us about your point guard. How did he finish this thing off?
Oh man, without him, man, we would be nothing, man. He's our backbone. He's our our heartbeat. So if he makes bad shots, I know that he has best intentions to come back and make good ones, good plays to help us win.
And right, lastly, that last timeout. You guys were sitting down when you tied it up. You went back in defense. It was a confusion of whether you're going to play man, zone, what kind of zone. And then who made the decision, and tell us about that last sequence.
Well, we all have a say-so on the team. Coach Courtney is a great coach. You know, he lets us say what we got to say to help us win. And we just said 3-2 is going to be the defense to help us win, get this win.
And so next on, you advance to the next round, of course, and which team you look forward to playing?
Either team, man. We just want to get to this Campbell Center on a Saturday, man, to get to state, to Austin.
And of course, now, everybody in the city is looking forward to part 4, possibly. You're 1 win away. Right. Travis and Bush part 4. Right. That's the sequel. Now tell me this. I know it's crossed your mind. What's going on? Is any smack talking back and forth out there in Fort Bend about this matchup?
Oh man, well, you know, everybody knows that we rivalries. So whenever we play each other, it's always a hype game. It's always a lot of people in the stands. So whenever we play each other, it's always a packed house. So we're ready to play them. You know, if they're ready to see us, then we're here.
Hey, that's spoken like a true champion. Once again, 25 points, Kelly Oubre. Bush, 80-75, double overtime win over North Shore. And so we'll kick it over to you, Brett, for the post-game comments.
Okay, thanks, Jim, and thanks to Kelly Oubre, our star of the game. 30 points, part of the 70-65 win for Fort Bend Bush. We'll be back and wrap things up in just a moment.
Footage was captured at a local grocery store. This man just took money from his bank that wasn't in his account. Did you catch it? Let's see that again. There, he just got 10 cents back for every $10 or more purchase on his debit card with cashback counts checking from Community Bank. Imagine a bank that actually pays you to use your debit card. Swipe all you can from your bank. Community Bank of Texas. Bank where you live.
This is not my home. There, I said it. They don't have pictures of my kids. They don't have my yoga mat. And still, I feel at home. Could it be the flat screen TV? The not so mini fridge? The different free dinner almost every weeknight? Or maybe it's all of the above and all the rest. Am I home? Nope, but it almost feels that way. Homewood Suites by Hilton. Be at home.
Back here in Pearland, it is a 70-65 Fort Bend Bush win in double overtime over North Shore. Brett Dolan with Jim Hicks and Joe Price. And guys, I'm exhausted. That was some type of high school basketball game.
Man, that's what you want. That's what it's the playoffs all about. Not only are we exhausted, we're almost voiceless around here. I mean, it was a big game, and the big players stepped up and made the big plays when they counted most.
Joe, we mentioned this at the end of maybe double overtime. There were several times I felt like North Shore was one basket away, 1 point away, maybe from being in a great position to win this game. I thought they were going to find a way to pull off the upset, and somehow the Broncos were finally able to get enough points to win this game.
Yeah, they were, and I think really what really hurt North Shore in the overtime, they missed quite a few free throws. You know, those pressure type situations, you got to knock down free throws to have a chance to win.
You know, they played well without Motley in that stretch when he picked up the fourth foul and had to sit, but they did miss him in overtime and double OT.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing, like Coach said, they missed free throws. And on the court when Motley was out, North Shore had to rely a lot on 3 sophomores on the floor at the same time. And I mean, you're going to get only so much in this type of game, this type of atmosphere with 3 10th graders. And so you just take your hat off to them. It's one of those situations where if Motley didn't get that 5th foul, who knows what would have happened. But once again, let's not take away from Bush, because it was a well-played and well-manufactured game toward the end. Their role guys stepped up and played their roles. Big 3-pointers from here and there. You can just count the number of guys who stepped up for Bush down the stretch.
Yeah, my hat's off to North Shore. I'm not even wearing the hat, but my hat's off to the Mustangs for what they were able to do. But now, just a final thought from both of you. How far can this Bush Broncos team go?
I think the sky's the limit, but, you know, it's kind of scary. I think they'll make it to the regional finals. But, you know, there's an old saying, you know, you beat a team 3 times, it's probably hard to beat them 4. And I'm sure in the back of Coach Courtney's mind, he's probably thinking about that.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it happened roughly about 8 years ago. Westfield High School was ranked number 4 in the United States. They had beaten Kingwood, who then had Nick Wise and Mike Singletary on that team. They had beat them 3 straight times through the season. Got into the regional tournament, had to face Kingwood again. That Westfield team went up 22-4 in the first half, only to see Nick Wise put on a cape and Mike Singletary put on another cape with an aura or a robin on it, a lens on, and they came back and won that game. And so I tell people, I warn people, hey, don't judge this book until it's over. And one thing about it, the whole city wants to see Bush and Travis Part 4. And I can't deny it. I want to see it too.
If they want to see it, they're one step closer to getting that rematch. A 70-65 double overtime win for Fort Bend Bush. They survive and advance. For the Coach Joe Price and Jim Hicks, I'm Brett Dolan. Thanks for tuning in tonight and all season long our high school basketball coverage right here on the Legacy Sports Network. Good night, everyone.